Okay, I think we should be live for our second session of the day. I hope everybody enjoyed the first session with Joe. Always risky doing a live demo. Do let us know in chat if you can see and hear us. That's useful feedback to get. Up next, we're going to be hearing from Miram Schwab of Elementor. He's going to be telling us all about how Elementor are taking steps to use AI already. I've known Miram for a long time, and so I'm very happy that you're here, Miram, and talking to us today. I'm going to move myself off stage and leave it to you. Take us away.
All right, thanks, Tom. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here, and I'm not as brave as Joe, so I'm not doing any live demos. It's going to be a video. He's very brave, but that was really cool. I'm going to be speaking about how AI is fitting into Elementor's vision, and also how we see it in conjunction with Elementor and WordPress in our industry and general ethos. But first, I'll just introduce myself a bit. So, hi, Miram. Hello. I've been in the WordPress industry for many years, like Tom, and so we've known each other from around, and many of you in the chat. So, hello. I organized WordCamp in Israel 5 times. I founded a WordPress agency, and then subsequently I founded a company called Static. You may have heard of it. Static, hosting and publishing for WordPress. I was a co-founder and CEO, and we were acquired by Elementor just about a year ago. So we're coming on a year. And at the beginning of this year, I took on a new role as head of WordPress relations at Elementor. So let's talk about AI. The way I see it, and we see it, is that AI is a natural next step for WordPress. If you think about what WordPress is and what its goals are, democratizing, publishing, giving people the ability to bring their vision, their views to the web and accessible to all, then you can see how AI empowers people even more and takes those capabilities to the next level. So let's just look back at what the web was. Some of you, I'm sure a lot of you are not as old as I am, but in the beginning, when we built websites, it was like this. It was HTML. It was very cool because we were able to get what we wanted to communicate, or our content or our businesses online, but it was straight up HTML. And if we wanted to change anything on those sites, we needed to use FTP for each page. So that was, yeah, exactly. HTML sites made a table using Notepad. I have a special place in my heart for Dreamweaver. Table in a table in a table, glorious days where we could do many things in messy, terrible ways. But obviously that is a limiting approach to building websites. And so along came this amazing world of content management systems. In those beginning stages, Dreamweaver does rock. Yeah, I wonder if it's still around. Anyways, in those beginning stages, the CMSs, many of them, at least the ones that were considered serious and ones that organizations could really use, was the proprietary ones. So if you remember those, they were like cumbersome, heavy types of systems that needed to be installed. And I love the reminiscing and nostalgia in the chat, by the way. So you are my people. Anyways, it was heavy, and while it allowed you to get your information online, you were then dependent on certain teams of people behind these proprietary CMSs. And if there was an issue with them or whatever, then you were stuck. But it gave people a taste of what it meant to allow people who weren't coders to get their content online, and that was already amazing. And then, of course, we get into this world of open source and open source CMSs, and the 3 big players at the time, and still today, were Joomla, Drupal, and of course WordPress. WordPress was in its infancy, let's say, in the beginning stages, considered mainly a blogging platform, and still not seen as serious enough for real organizations to use, right? And also a lot of organizations were afraid of open source. What does this mean? It's very hippie, right? A lot of us are kind of hippie when it comes to open source, but like an enterprise company was going to feel uncomfortable with the concept of using open source for something important to its business. But slowly but surely, these platforms evolved, and of course, WordPress evolved. A very significant development for WordPress was, for example, custom post types, where it really turned into a CMS, and many businesses started turning to WordPress as a viable and legitimate solution for managing their content. But it wasn't just businesses, right? So we have WordPress, kind of starting to lead the space. And of course, we can see based on the numbers that WordPress has taken a leading edge in a very significant way in the market. By the way, I remember using Kufon. Okay. Anyways, the chat here is fun. we all should hang out at some point and just talk about this because I'm supposed to focus. So anyways, so WordPress, of course, became leading player. And now the next stage, which you can disagree with me, but the next stage is, okay, how can we take the CMS WordPress and start to align it with the capabilities of people who are less technical? So, WordPress came out and with the amazing message of democratizing publishing and making it possible for anyone to do what they want on the web, more or less. But as we know, if you want to design a site, build pages in a certain way, that became cumbersome in the beginning days. Many of us did it with certain page builders that created a lot of custom, like short codes throughout the page, which could get messy. Or then we started using advanced custom fields, which is awesome. I still think it's awesome. But let's say it gave less flexibility to people who didn't feel comfortable with that type of approach and wanted to be able to basically drag and drop. So along came, Beaver Builder and WP Bakery, and of course Elementor, trying to bring more flexibility and capability to the web, and in a way taking the vision of WordPress further. And of course, now we have Gutenberg as well, which is also bringing this this perspective of people shouldn't have to dig into the code, deal with theme files necessarily in order to bring their vision to fruition. So this is the journey that we had. We had and all of them are about making, it's like one step in the direction of making it easier and smoother for anyone to get themselves on the web, get their vision on the web, get their content on the web. So let's just look at what WordPress is in a nutshell. So WordPress is a system for creating, right? It's a content management system, and it enables people to get content, images, video, whatever, up online within a couple of clicks. It's also for everyone. So if you are familiar with WordPress's ethos, the idea is to make it something that's great for the widest range of users, which has its pros and cons. Enterprise companies expect you to be speaking only their language, but WordPress really is for anyone, including hobbyists or small mom and pop shops or whatever. And that's always been its perspective and approach. So it really is for everyone, and everyone can find its place in it, from people who want the simple way to get content online to hardcore developers who implement development workflows, sophisticated modern workflows, things like that. So that's WordPress. Now, what is generative AI? It's also creating systems and models that actually create. So it's like taking it another step. And it's also for everyone because of the way it's structured, which is a prompt that you don't have to know any kind of language for, except for your own. Well, basically English. It works less well in other languages, but if you can speak and you can type, then you can get output from it, which is a huge revolution in terms of giving people capabilities that they didn't have before, unless they, were technologically oriented or whatever. So WordPress is a system and for everyone. AI is a system and for everyone. And you can see there's kind of this overlap in terms of like where each of these platforms essentially are going, and what they're doing and for whom. So let's just talk about Elementor. So Elementor being a page builder and being part of this vision of making it easy for anyone to create content, whether they're marketers, content creators, etc., but also developers. You can check out Elementor has a really good developer blog that is updated by someone on our team named Rami with some very cool capabilities that I think people aren't always aware of. So also addressing a large range of people, and AI coming onto the scene, and in such a significant way and in such an accessible way to end users and also to developers, it just became kind of like a no-brainer that, of course, if we want our web creators to be able to create the best possible sites, and not all of them have teams and budgets, whatever, this capability, this gives them the capability of creating more polished content, copy, even code for their sites. So what is Elementor? Also a page builder and web creation system, right? It's kind of a platform on a platform. Elementor is quite huge. It's a plugin, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And so like WordPress, like AI, Elementor with WordPress is also a system. And it's accessible to everyone, like I described, in a way that makes it relatively easy for people to build a site who aren't coders, and also to implement more advanced capabilities if they are. So AI aligns with Elementor's vision for web creators, because if we're aiming for this, then AI allows our users to take a significant leap forward. It doesn't take away anyone's, in my opinion, at least this is me, but it doesn't take away almost anyone's actual functionality. What it does is it takes everyone a few steps forward and allows everyone to kind of stop doing specific, repetitive things, or things that they're not so as good at, like let's say copywriting or development. But I think we still will have a need for people at that like farther point along the way after AI has done its thing, at least until AI develops further. So it's pretty clear that AI can and will take web creation to the next level. I think we're going to see some mind-blowing implementations of AI combined with web creation tools, like we saw in the last talk, which is amazing, and what is being implemented in Elementor, in that sites can be more polished, more effective. They can be more customized to the person who's managing the site and building the site, in terms of guiding them strategically, even, what's your goal? Who are you targeting? What do you want to achieve? Do you want to achieve sales? Do you want to achieve conversion optimization, lead generation, etc.? What is it that you're aiming for? And the AI can be like a partner, a strategic partner in the back end, when it's tied into the system. And then on the front end, this is something far off, and this is just how I see it. People will be able to visit a site that, on the fly, in some ways, is customized to them. Does it make sense that we're all seeing the exact same thing on sites already? There's personalization that's taking place. This can take it to a whole new level. So let's just look at the world with Leonardo. It's totally fine. You're not the only one. I think as far as the numbers around Elementor usage is something like 13 million installs. So there's a lot of people who use it. There's also a lot of people who don't. Totally fine. There's many options out there. And what we saw in the last talk with Gutenberg is very cool. So everyone should that's the beauty of WordPress. Use what, it's good for you. So let's just talk about what it looks like with Elementor on its own, and then Elementor with AI. So if you are using Elementor and you want to install and get started, you can do that as a web creator. Site content, you need a copywriter, unless you have content creation skills. Blog posts, also copywriters. And advanced styles and coding in Elementor. At a certain point, you may want to get developers involved. And images and illustrations, obviously, it's graphic designers and the like. I mean, you can use Canva to a certain extent or whatever, but usually at a certain point, you bring in professionals. Elementor plus AI means that all of these capabilities, again, to a certain extent, and not just Elementor and AI, platforms, web creation and AI, means that all of these capabilities now are in the hands of anyone almost. If they can work with a prompt and communicate, then they can get what they want out of it, which is really, really amazing and cool, and very empowering, and very equalizing, I have to say. It really enables smaller businesses, smaller entities to create a stronger footing, a stronger digital footing. I think we'll always see some kind of leveling where there will be a certain level of professionalism. So you'll be able to see it. That's just how things go, but we'll see a much more polished web. So basically, web creators who depended on other professionals for a lot of things won't need them for some of it. Again, I don't think it's going to cancel out the need for all of these people. Plus, as people pointed out in the chat, we should be very, very careful about attribution. I actually asked AI what AI is. I'm sure many of you have done it. And AI said that it basically said it doesn't create original content. Now, it might look like original content to us, but it's probably the combination of all of the data that it's kind of consumed, and it's spitting it out, and then that to the AI is not original, because it's kind of taken stuff and, taped it together and created this output for us, but it came from somewhere, right? So that's something that's really tricky. So we're probably always going to need professionals, but it means that the starting point is farther ahead for everyone. Getting up and running with a beautiful site with effective content, amazing illustrations and images for Midjourney, unless you try to get like snooker tables, green grass thingy, but doing it a few times to get it right. It's really, really empowering and really amazing, and really aligned with the vision that WordPress has brought and is leading to the web. So again, because I'm not as brave, I'm going to show you a short video demo of Elementor's AI at this stage. There's a lot more in store, so stay tuned. But it's become a very key product component for the team, and everyone's very excited about it and what it can do for our users. So here you go.
Introducing Elementor AI. Let's try an entire blog post. Cool. Now let's create some custom CSS with Elementor AI. Let's force this SVG icon to be white. And there you have it. With its robust features made specifically for Elementor, Elementor AI gives you superpowers that take your web creation skills to the next level. But why take our word for it? Try Elementor AI for free on any Elementor website.
Okay, so that's my demo, because I'm a coward.
Introduce.
Nope. Okay. Yes. I just want to say, Tammy Lister, what you said, I totally agree with, and so I'm trying to communicate, but I think you might have done it better. That none of these skill sets are dead. What it just does is it raises the bar and capabilities increase. That's it. So even the web designer or the content creator, now they themselves have kind of like a team, which is the AI, that can help them do what they're doing better. Because also you can have AI, let's say, create an illustration, but not all of us have a design eye. So we can say, here's the mood and whatever, but it doesn't necessarily align with what we're trying to achieve. So there's just like every revolution, whether it was the industrial revolution or the digital revolution, HTML, CMSs, open source, etc. All of it just gives us more capabilities and takes it farther, but we still need human prompts, and we still need the human perspective. And I don't see that changing for a long time. So thank you, Tammy. So did you. Okay, so what's next? By the way, in my experience, when I've asked AI to write things for me or prepare things for me, it's really, and I'm not saying this to give myself kudos, but it's really never like as good as I want it to be, or I would create it to be. It created. It's limiting. It's lacking some kind of nuance. That let's say it's about our industry, that someone, it can consume the data, but in the end, does it understand the nuances like a human does? Not quite. Does it know the right points to make in terms of messaging? Not really. It's still consuming and spitting out. It's amazing, and it can, if you're like me and it's hard for you to look at a blank page, which is, and get started, it can give you a good starting point. But after that, at this point, but we'll see. It's going to be amazing, I think, and we're still going to continue to be blown away by its capabilities. This is just the start. So what's next? Okay, obviously, I'm not saying anything that's like mind shattering or whatever. But it's AI will transform the future. It will. We're all going to be able to do much more. It's like another form of automation, if you think about it. A lot of things that we used to do manually in the world of development or otherwise, Excel sheets even. It's another form of automation that allows us to take bigger leaps and bigger steps. Web creators can be more productive and scale up by doing more with less. Democratizing publishing. This just strengthens that. It really gives people capabilities. I'll just give you an example. So we're actually organizing a 20th birthday party for WordPress this Sunday in the Tel Aviv area. And one of the speakers who's coming, he wrote a post in Hebrew. And then he wrote it in English. Now, I've read his English before, and he makes mistakes. And the English version of his post was amazing. It was a beautiful translation that captured what he was saying, and it didn't have any grammatical errors. How amazing is that? In a world where, for good or for bad or whatever, we communicate mostly in English when we're communicating internationally. People who don't have English as a first language now can communicate in a really beautiful way, and really get their messaging across. So this is another example of that, democratizing publishing, even also for not foreign languages. All languages are foreign to someone else, but non-English speakers who are aiming to communicate in English, and vice versa. There's a really strong future for WordPress with AI. I think that just, again, because of the ethos of WordPress and the ethos of AI, there's such strong alignment that I actually think that AI, there's some, you can wonder what the future of WordPress is going to be. It's 20 years old, but it also is legacy and old. But I think that AI is going to give it a really strong, amazing boost. And because WordPress has such huge market share, it's going to take it forward in an amazing way, particularly with these types of community efforts around it, which other platforms don't necessarily have. Like from the previous presentation, which was amazing, Elementor is doing its part, and there's other initiatives. We're going to see a lot of powerful AI capabilities in the WordPress space that's going to give it a big advantage over other web publishing platforms, in my opinion. And the sky really is the limit. I mean, we don't know what else we're going to be able to do. Video capabilities are already starting to be used. It's going to be amazing. We all have to be a little bit careful, right? Paying attention. Are we plagiarizing? Is our content original? And fake news, yikes. We'll see what happens with that. But there's going to be a lot of power put in the hands of a lot of people who deserve it. So the future is here, and it's really exciting. It's exciting to see the first steps that Elementor is taking with it. It's exciting to see what's being done with Gutenberg. And I think we're going to see some amazing things happening. And I can't wait to see what we all create using AI and giving us extra strength and extra power. So let's do great things together and make the web an even better place. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. Thank you very much, Miriam. I'm going to unmute myself. Loved that. Okay, everybody. So I think what worked well in the last session was people were putting their questions into the QA, and that enabled Joe to
Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I thought that was my mum calling me then, but it wasn't.
My mum.
Very nice. Happens to us all. Yeah, if you want to pop your questions into the QA, and then that'll give Miram an easy place to find them if she did want to stick around and answer some. I will also say we've got a panel coming up at the end of the session, or a panel discussion, and so any questions that we don't get to in the session, in these kind of more presentation sessions, perhaps those questions will be good source material for that panel. And so with that, I'm going to end this room. Thank you again, Miriam. I really appreciate you taking the time to share what you and Elementor are doing with AI. It looks like some amazing stuff, and definitely you're not a coward in the slightest for producing a slick demo. I think that's more reflective. Joe's live demo is more reflective of him not putting in the time to pre-record something slick. To let you in on that secret. Anyway, I will see you all in the next session in a few moments. I'll pull you over automatically, so you shouldn't need to navigate anywhere.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Thanks for listening. Bye.